Okay, welcome everybody. Today, inshallah, we're gonna revise the main points of what we had previously. So, and also, if you have any question, you are welcome um, in this regard for midterm exam. So, I will start now with the PowerPoint. Yes. Okay. So, you know that we talked about last time, we revised these issues about phonetics and phonology and the difference between them and morpheme and phoneme, and also the difference between them. Could you please like make a difference between phoneme and morpheme, Islam?
Yes, doctor.
Yes. What's the difference between phoneme and
Phoneme,
morpheme? Quickly. Yes.
phoneme is a single sound. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it has a meaning or not. But phoneme is the smallest unit of meaning. If it can change the meaning of the word.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What about morpheme?
Yes, حكيت أنا المورفيم ولا الفونيم. Phoneme is a single sound. المورفيم the smallest unit meaning the grammar.
Okay, that's nice. So could you
It
please
can change the meaning.
mention example of morpheme?
Yes, car and cars. ال- The S here is the morpheme.
S is
S
morpheme.
plural.
Yes, and what about car?
Yes,
Also, the car is morpheme.
phoneme.
It consists of two, a functional
Yes,
one, a grammatical function one, and also the meaning اللي هو meaningful word like car,
yes,
سيارة. But S is like for grammatical function. Okay? So pay attention to
yes,
these
yes.
tiny like elements because I may ask you for like midterm choose the correct answer. For example, if I say cars and I just underline s and then I ask you about if it is like a grammatical function or meaningful unit. So s here is considered as a grammatical function. Okay.
Grammatical.
Yes, Shireen. Okay. Um, Also, minimal pairs. I may ask you just okay, like these two questions. May like mention two words, okay, that have the same sound but different in one sound, and then I may ask you, okay, where is the difference in which sound? I may ask you another question. For example, two words, and then okay, like mouth and mouse, and then I ask you like what's in which like is under what minimal pairs or for morpheme or phoneme, so you have to choose the term that is like meet these sounds mouth and mouse, so you are going quickly to choose minimal pairs. So you have a different questions, okay, regard this issue like minimal pairs or two sounds that have like the same sound but different in one sound. And um, for these terms like phonetics terms, I may ask you like s is considered as phoneme or morpheme, or or for example, so you have to like choose the best answer like it's phoneme. اوكي، يعني انا ممكن اسالكم هيك اسئله بسيطه جدا صغيره لكن دققوا فيها عشان يعني اي سؤال او اي شيء بهذا الخصوص يعني على طول انه يعني تجدوا الاجابه الصحيحه. تمام. هذا بالنسبه للاشياء اللي هي التيرمز، يعني ما راح اسالكم تعريف او definition او define او whatever، يعني خاصه انه written essay او شيء زي هيك، لانه يعني it will be like for final exam not for mid term. So I just okay want you just to pay attention and hold attention to these um like multiple choice. It will be like multiple choice. All questions it will like focus on multiple choice. So you have just to um familiarize with all of these okay issues to understand it deeply. Okay, and you have many resources, this PowerPoint and also book, and you can like read many resources and get the like make use of all of them. um and also we talked about the places of articulation last time, if you remember. Could you please just remind me of the most important ones and like the sounds that is like regard of each one? Yes, Hind. Muhammad.
Bilabel, your lips come together like a P M.
Yes, that's nice.
Labiodental, lower lip and upper teeth, like we pronounce have.
Yes, keep going. Yes,
Dental, tongue tip and inner of upper teeth, like think or they.
nice.
Yes.
Alveolar.
Yes, doctor.
Yes, another one. Amani.
Amani.
Yes, Amani.
Alveolar, top the tongue, touch the alveolar ridge. Alveolar, top of the tongue, touch the alveolar ridge. Hard ridge behind your teeth.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And which sound?
Like
Like what?
ta, ta, da, s, z.
Nice. Yes, Amani. Nice. Okay. Palatal.
Velar, palatal, body of the tongue, rises up to the hard palatal. Palat.
Yes. Like what?
Uh, ish and j, ch, ja.
Could you please like say one word that include j?
Is um, revision, I think.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Yes. Nice. Okay.
Um,
Continue.
and I think yeah, like yes or yet,
Uh-huh.
بلتال or الفيلا بلتال مش عارفة أنا. We consider
Okay.
yeah sound as palatal or alveolar palatal.
Yeah. Here. Palatal.
Okay, palatal. Velar,
Yes. Velar.
back of the tongue with soft palatal.
Nice. And
Uh,
glottal.
as glottal, proceed by glottal. Pharynx, uh, used in the pharynx. Pharynx.
Yeah. Yes. The truth passage. Yes. Thank
Uh,
you. Thank you, Amani. Okay. Another one. Okay. Yes. Okay. So now let's move to manner of articulation. So what do you think is the difference between manner and places of articulation, and why they like we consider them as important points of articulation? Yes. What's the difference between manner and place? Man, like okay,
Yes,
place
doctor.
is
yes.
like location. Yes, Islam.
Yes, doctor. The place of articulation is where the airstream is restricted. So if it doesn't matter if it's that restricted is partially or is complete. This is the place of articulation. But the manner of articulation is the way that the airstream is affected as it flows from the lungs and out of the mouth or the nose.
Nice, thank you, Islam. So, you have to pay attention to these slightly differences between manner and places. Okay, and for inshallah midterm, I may ask you like um the sounds that is included in stop or fricative or affricate. So you have to pay attention to these sounds and stop and fricative and affricate and nasal and liquid and glide. Okay. So could you please uh, like mention, or could you please mention the sounds that included in stop
Yes,
and why
doctor.
we call it stop?
Yes,
Yes, Shireen.
yes, stop. We can say it because the airflow in the oral cavity is like the sound b and b, والك والج وتا والدا.
Okay, that's nice. So I may ask you like, okay, this question, I may ask like mention one word, and then I ask you to choose, okay, is it like stop or like if fricative or affricate? So you have to pay attention that, okay, these sound like included in stop, okay? عشان انتوا تصيروا يعني familiar في الاشياء هاي، فانا يعني حيكون مثل الاختيار من المتعدد، وانا حاعطيكم الساوند او الكلمة وتختاروا اللي هو المانر or manner of articulation or places of articulation. فلازم انتوا يعني تنتبهوا للاشياء هاي. اوكي، خلينا هلا مثلا لو قلنا كلمة for example here talk. For example talk. So talk, is it like
Yes, doctor.
stop or fricate or affricative?
Stop,
Stop.
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 Yeah. Okay.
Yes, stop manner.
Let's move to the next one, which is like fricative. Yes. What does it mean?
Fricative, fricative.
And
Fricative manner.
and which sound?
Airflow is continuous and turbulent.
Another one, Shireen. Just a minute. Okay, excuse me. Just uh, Yara. Yara. Okay. Let's okay ask Amani. Amani.
Yes, doctor.
I think Amani, I saw you yesterday.
Yes,
I remember you very well. Okay, you are welcome. Okay,
you're welcome.
could you please mention the sounds that is included in fricative?
F, f or v. Fricative sound. Fricative manner, yeah.
Okay, why we call it fricative?
Fricative um, because it's produced at Elvira Bridge, I think.
Can we call it like hissing sound? Hissing.
Uh, please again. ما سمعت
Just
إنه
a
معلش.
minute.
Yes, doctor.
Yes, Islam.
Yes, we can call it a hissing
Yes,
sound.
فبتنتبهوا لنقطة إنه هم hissing. يعني I may ask you like hissing sound, hissing sounds. Okay. So hissing sounds like, okay, I may ask you like tss. So here, let's say, okay, it is like considered here as hissing sound. Okay. So we have another
Okay.
term which is like hissing sounds or fricative sounds. Okay, Amani. Continue, affricate.
Africa like cha
Mm-hmm.
and the ja.
Like
Sounds
what?
cha and ja.
Yes. In which word?
Uh, Which
Could you
word?
please say
Chair.
some words?
Chair. Chair.
Chair, yes. That's nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Chair.
Let's move to the
Chair.
next one, liquid. So, what does it mean, liquid? And which sound that is included here in liquid?
I think R. R.
Yes. And
The tongue back to the left. To the left. I think really like this.
like air stream moves around the tongue. Okay. So here the sound like oh, light,
Right.
feel. Okay. It's like revision, okay? I'm not gonna like explain anything, okay? Because you know that you that we discussed all of this before. So I just want, okay, to like hold attention to all of this. Like I may ask you, okay, these sounds and just to choose the best answer. So here, let's move to the um, like vibration and non-vibration. But before we move to this one, I just want you to watch this video. Just um, going to like focus here on manner of articulation. Yes.
YouTube, Edgar here, and welcome to Artifexi, and here you will learn everything you ever wanted to know about world building, and then some. In the last video, we looked at the first element that goes into forming consonants, place of articulation. In this video, let's look at manner of articulation. Place of articulation tells us where in the mouth the obstruction to the airflow is occurring. Manner of articulation listed on the side here will tell us how much of the airflow is being obstructed. It's a roughly top-down kind of thing here, with total obstruction near the top and minimal obstruction near the bottom. In order, we have 1. Nasal stops. Instead of simply stopping the airflow, we can reroute it through the nasal cavity. This produces sounds like ma as in mouth and na as in nose. It's worth noting that nasal consonants are nearly universal in human language. Only languages around Puget Sound, Quileute, Qualsukid, and Makah truly lack nasal consonants. Number 2, plosives. Plosives, also known as stops, stop the airflow entirely. The pressure is
So we have two terms like stop and implosive, okay?
built up behind the articulators and eventually released in a small explosion of air. English has 6 plosive consonants: ba, pa, ta, da, ka, and ga, as in pan, ban, town, dog, king, and garden. Number 3, fricative. There are a lot of fricatives. Here the airflow is obstructed almost entirely, producing a turbulent hissing sound. In English, we have no less than 10 fricative sounds: fa, va, tha, tha, sa, za, sha, ja, ha, and ha. As in fish, van, thought, this, so, zoo, shine, vision, loch, and home. Number 4, approximate. Here the airflow is impeded only slightly. The hissing sound, indicative of fricatives, is no longer present here, but the sound is altered to a degree. In English, we have 3 approximates: ra as in run, ya as in yes, and wa as in water. Interestingly, the English W sound does not appear in this section of the IPA. Why? Because it's co-articulated, so it belongs in this section, which we'll discuss in the near future. The TLDR here is that the English W sound occurs in 2 places at once. It's a velar approximant, but at the same time, it's also labialized, hence co-articulated. Further interesting side note is that theoretically we can labialize any sound with a superscript W after the relevant IPA symbol. So pa, ba, ta, and da, for example, will become pwa, bwa, twa, and dwa. Number 5, tap or flap. There are only 3 taps or flaps in the IPA, none of which occur in standard English. The most familiar example of a tap or flap would be the North American realization of the word latter. Ladder. Here the T sound is replaced by an alveolar flap. What's happening here is that one articulator is thrown against another in a single gesture, hence tap or flap. Number 6, trill. Here, an articulator is held in place, and the air blown through the vocal tract causes it to vibrate back and forth. The IPA has three contrastive trills. Ra, as in the French rendezvous, bra, a bra, as in the Nias word for lower jaw, si bruit, and of course the rolled or, which my stick figure friend will again demonstrate. Ra, a ra. And finally, number 7, laterals. So laterals are liquidy L-type sounds, produced when the tongue creates an obstruction in the middle of the mouth and reroutes the air out the sides of the mouth. Notice laterals come in three forms: lateral fricatives, lateral approximants, and lateral flaps. We have only one lateral sound in English, la, as in laugh. That said, we can't talk about the laterals without mentioning the voiceless lateral fricative, found in Icelandic, Welsh, and Navajo, amongst others. Shla, a shla, as in the Welsh pronoun shlaj, which is just the coolest sounding word. Anyways, to summarize, here is the IPA consonant chart. The columns represent place of articulation, where the obstruction is occurring, and the rows represent manner of articulation, how much of the airflow is being obstructed. Next up, voicing. Stay tuned.
Okay. Okay. So I think now everything is clear for places of articulation and manner of articulation. Um, eh, okay. If you have any question, okay, in this regard, you are welcome. Yes, Amani and Islam.
It's all clear.
Okay. Thank you. So now let's move to another term, which is voiced and voiceless sounds. So what's the difference between voiced and voiceless sounds, and why we call it like voice and voiceless? Yes, let me choose one here. Volunteers.
Yes, doctor.
Shireen.
Yes.
Yes, Shireen. Why we call it voice sound?
Voice, because when we pronounce the letter, we have a vibration in the vocal cord, in the voice. But in
Nice.
voiceless,
And voiceless sound.
we don't have a vibration in the vocal cord.
Okay. Could you please mention the sounds that included in voice?
The,
Okay, and voiceless,
ف أو S.
like pataka.
Yes.
Okay, like this pataka. Okay, so here voiceless. Okay, you know that we talked about this before, that about like voiced sound, that they are called like this voiced sound because your voice is like is on when you like feel that vibration. It means that there is a voice sound. You touch your throat like here and again, like say this sound. Do you feel like vibration in your throat في الحلق? So it's like okay voice sound, but and compared to the voiceless sound they're like don't vibrate your throat. لأن ما بنلاحظ انه في يعني اهتزاز في الاحبال الصوتيه في الحلق because your vocal cords are open, so the like air flows through your through it like freely, and they called like voiceless sound. So that's we like call it like voiceless sound, like pataka. Okay, and this is like a description of this one. So is like voiceless is like vocal folds like separated, and here like vocal tightly closed. Okay, so you will notice that voiceless sound like there is a vocal cord, like the vocal cords are open. Okay, the vocal cords are separated, and compared to the voice, no, they're like it closed, okay, to each other. um I think okay, Everything is clear here about voice and voiceless sound. So you have any question regard this point? Okay,
No, it's clear.
no questions. Okay. And we talked about here about phoneme. Yes. Now let's move to another, okay, term of aspirated and unaspirated. But before we talked about this one, I just want you to watch this video about voicing. Just a minute. Yes.
In consonants. If we start with phonetics, let's remember what we've seen so far. In our last videos, we discussed the concepts of place and manner of articulation. We'll turn now to the third crucial feature that we need in order to be able to describe human speech sounds in articulatory terms. And the feature we're looking for is called voicing. Since the word voice is common and used in everyday life, it's useful to distinguish between what we mean when we say, "That voice sounds familiar to me," or "John Legend has a great voice," and what we mean in linguistics when we say that a consonant sound is voiced. When linguists talk about voicing, they're talking about something very particular. Namely, they're talking about sounds that are made with accompanying vibration of the vocal cords. And when linguists talk about voiceless sounds, they're talking about sounds that are made without vibration of the vocal cords. If you want to get a quick sense of what voicelessness is, just think about whispering. To understand what we mean by talking about consonant sounds being made with vibrating vocal cords, we really need to think about the whole system involved in speech production. When we produce speech, the action really all starts at the lungs. The diaphragm and the rib cage act as a pump. And the air being pumped up from the lungs is the energy source that powers the whole system when we speak. During speech production, this air flows upwards through the trachea to the larynx, where it passes through the glottis and up into the supralaryngeal vocal tract. Voicing is all about what happens when the air passes through the larynx. Here's a view of the larynx when seen from the front. The larynx is important here because it houses the vocal cords. And here's what real-life vocal cords look like when looked at from above. Here are the vocal cords. And because we're looking from above, you can actually look down and see the rings of the trachea. Remember also that the space between the vocal cords is called the glottis. Okay then, in this picture we can see that the vocal cords are spread apart, so the glottis is wide open. And this is a pretty good situation for breathing. But how do we get from this to vibrating vocal cords? Well, the first part of the answer is this. We use the muscles of the larynx to bring the vocal cords together along their length, and we hold them in this position with varying degrees of tension, giving us something like this. If we view things from the front, we can see how the air being pumped up from the lungs will collide with the vocal cords that we're holding together. So what happens is that the pressure from the air pumped up from the lungs is going to push the vocal cords apart. And their elasticity, together with a pressure drop across the larynx, is going to cause them to snap back together. And as long as we can keep pumping up air from the lungs, we can continue to maintain these cycles of opening and closing of the vocal cords. Here's a pretty cool picture of one cycle of vocal cord vibration. We can see the vocal cords together on the left, pushed apart in the middle, and coming back together in the image on the right. When these cycles happen with high frequency, that's voicing. If you find it hard to think about your vocal cords, and let's face it, it is kind of hard to think about our vocal cords, try thinking about lip buzzing. Lip buzzing is the way we make noise at our lips when we play the trumpet. And it can be a useful way of understanding what's going on in voicing. Lip buzzing works like this. First, we press our lips together. We make sure that they're closed tightly at the edges. We put tension on them to hold them together. And then we blow air through them with a lot of pressure. This makes the lips vibrate, which gives us the buzzing noise that we subsequently modify with the tube and valves of the trumpet. So instead of buzzing lips, our vocal cords provide the buzzing noise source for voicing, and the supralaryngeal vocal tract provides, following up on the analogy, the trumpet. In a nutshell, that's the basics of how voicing works. So how about connecting voicing to specific consonants? Okay, start by putting your hand so that you're touching your throat like the woman is in this picture. Now make the sound S and keep it going. Without moving your tongue at all, change the sound S into a Z. And then alternate between the S and the Z. You should be able to feel the vocal cord vibration turning on and off as you toggle between the Z sound and the S sound. What you're feeling is this. The sound Z is a voiced consonant made with vocal cord vibration. By contrast, S is made with the vocal cords held apart. That is, the glottis is wide open, so there's no vibration. S is voiceless. So what consonants are voiced and what consonants are voiceless? It's maybe helpful to return to the continuum we saw in our presentation on manner of articulation in sonorant consonants. In particular, let's look at the distinction between obstruents and sonorants. English provides a really useful example of voicing in consonants. If we start with the English obstruents, we notice something particularly interesting about them. Remember, the obstruents are the stops, the fricatives, and the affricates. And what's interesting is that they come in voiceless and voiced pairs. So this is basically like a big 2-for-1 deal. What I mean is that voicing lets us double the number of obstruent consonants we have in English. The only difference between, say, P and B, or between S and Z, is voicing. Sonorant consonants, on the other hand, are a different story. The fact that we call them sonorants is actually a giveaway, because unlike the more constricted obstruents, being voiced is a characteristic property of what it means to be a sonorant sound. So, sonorants are loners in the sense that they don't travel in pairs of voiced and voiceless counterparts, but they're not loners in the sense that as a group, they're almost always all voiced sounds, as we can see in the example using the English sonorants here. Okay, so let's put everything together and review what we've done. We've discussed the third key concept that we need for the articulatory description of consonants, and that's voicing. We've looked at what voicing is physiologically in terms of vocal cord vibration, and we've seen how consonants can be either voiced or voiceless, depending on whether they're produced with or without, you guessed it, vocal cord vibration. If you've watched these videos in order, your superpower is that you've now got the place, manner, and voicing terms to take on the description of many of the world's consonants. In our next video, we'll...
Okay. So I think now this video provide you with the more explanation about voiced and voiceless sound. So you may make use of these terms. And now let's turn to another term, which is called aspirated and unaspirated. So now, before we talked about this, okay, let's define allophone. So what's the meaning of allophone?
Yes, doctor.
Yes, Islam.
Allophone is the two variation of one sound.
Yes. So when the position of the phoneme like it changes its pronunciation. So we talked about three um, different pronunciation. Could you please mention them, Islam?
Yes,
Yes. Go on.
by the place of the sound, right?
Yes. Okay, that
And
they have a different realization. So could you please mention these different position?
yes,
We have two, okay, but okay, let's talk about the position of the phoneme, like in a word or like in a syllable, like changes its pronunciation. We have three different position. Could you please mention them?
yes, yes. The
Yes,
first one is the clear L and the dark L, right?
nice. Yes.
Yes.
So when
Uh,
do we like pronounce like light, initial position?
the first syllable. Yes.
Yes.
Initial position
And
of the
dark,
word.
dark.
The last position in the word or the
Yes,
syllable.
yes, final.
Yes.
So,
I think the second is aspirated, which is in three sounds: P and T and K.
nice. Could you please mention examples?
Yes. Like pen and tin and cool.
Great. Okay. So, um,
Yes.
okay. So the next one. Okay. So if it is like
The third,
preceded,
I don't.
if we like preceded by s, okay, before pataka. Okay, if we preceded by s, like
It become
Non-aspirated.
unaspirated.
yes, yes. Okay, you have to pay attention to this. Okay. Yes. Continue. And the last one
Yes. I
is
don't know the third one.
adjacent sound.
What?
Okay, usually vowel.
Yes. It's I think it's different by the way that the speaker himself pronounce it.
It's usually like comes with vowel. Okay, like cat, cut, came. So we have
Yes.
different. Okay, cat, cut, and came, a. Okay,
Yes.
thank you. So, and who is going to mention the like the next one? Okay, Islam, okay, talked about the first case. Who is going to mention the second case? Yes, Shireen. Shireen, Shireen. Okay, another one, Amani. Any volunteer?
Yes,
Yes,
doctor.
Amani. Could you please mention the second case of alphone when the
Um,
same speaker
um,
uses different pronunciation of the same sound? It's like called free variation. Like what? Yes. Of R, for example, if you say R, يعني sound of R يعني أحيانا بيختلف يعني مثلا like in the beginning okay like in the word return بيكون في يعني فوق يعني قوة for like words when you pronounce this return you strongly pronounce this one but okay and compared to the like comes when it comes at the end of the word it's like not sounded like teacher
Sure. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
okay
Uh,
so
at
yeah.
final we pronounce it Tetshwa, I think. Without R.
Okay, thank you. So thank you, Amani. So we have here also, okay, as Islam said, we have a different distribution, okay? If it is like start with it like pataka, we start with it or after s and also in like at the end. So you have to pay attention to this because I may ask you about these different distribution, but like in a multiple choice, okay? Um, let's now move into, I think, okay, we talked about everything, okay, but I think that we missed points here. Just a minute about vowels, if you remember. Okay, about like the place and manner of articulation of vowel sound, not consonant sound, like in a vowel sound. So don't forget it, okay? And don't forget it that all like vowels are always voiced, okay? And while consonant like can be both voiced and voiceless. Oh, I think also we talked about front vowels, back vowels, and central one. So you have to pay attention to these differences between them because I may ask you like um, for example, if I say a car, let me now just car. For example, if I say like this, car, the word, or sorry, the sound of a in car, front, sorry, wait, this is like this. Okay, yes. The sound of a in car, like it is the front or back or central. I may ask you like these questions, okay? So you have to pay attention to like these questions. So now, if we like, okay, going to choose the best answer, which one?
In the back.
Yes, nice, thank you, Islam. In the back. So you have to pay attention like these questions, okay? Um, I think now everything is clear for you. Um, our questions will be like multiple choice, and if you have any question, okay, any suggestion, you are welcome. Um, so yes, okay. Um, just okay, prepare yourself very well and try to like taking notes of the most important sounds, okay? And I think okay, everything okay, focused on manner and places and vowels, places and manner of vowels, places and manners of consonants, and some terms that is related to phonetics and phonology. So I think and is everything is clear and easy for you now. Mm, okay,
دكتورة أنا بعتت سؤالين على الشات.
sorry, just a minute. Hint, yes, doctor. The first cases for allophone, what does it mean? Okay, هند احنا عنا two cases of allophone, okay. Um, I talked here, okay, about the previous one, okay, about like we have three position, okay. لما يكون في عنا الفنيم in the word or like in the syllable, like it changes its pronunciation. فعندك مثل ما حكى إسلام في عنا clear و dark. احيانا بتكون يعني هي خفيفه باللفظ ودارك تقيله باللفظ. في اللي هو الاسبريتد والان اسبريتد، فاللي هما الكلمه الحروف باتكا. فعندك different position برضو للباتكا، يعني إذا كان في الأول غير عن إنه يكون مسبوق بحرف الأس أو يعني like in the end. Okay. هدول هم الاختلافات، يعني you have to pay attention. يعني في الأول لما يكون initial or like after or preceded by S and like at the end. وفي عنا the third one is like adjacent يعني next to like a vowel, okay. فusually يعني it comes with a vowel, like it changes like the quality of consonant. فمثل الكات cut came. فعندنا هون في الكتاب حتى ذاكر الأمثلة بشكل يعني more explanation يعني for about the changes of the sound ك اللي هو C إنه cat cut and came. So يعني احنا بنلفظها انه حسب، يعني مثلا اذا اجى قبل بعدها بيكون cat cut بتكون اقوى شوي came. فهنا في اللي هو changes the quality of consonant like affected by vowel. And the next case, okay, that is talked about or focused on free variation. free variation يعني عنا انه بكون when like the speaker like produces different pronunciation the same sound، لكن ايش بكون عنا this realization of the same phoneme like may change it and they like call it free variation. فالأصوات اللي بتدخل فيها بالمجال هذا اللي هو حرف الR، فإنه في بداية اللفظ الR بيكون أقوى لما بنقول return، لكن لما بنيجي نحكي بالآخر أوكي بنلفظها as شوه بتصير weak sound like speaker or teacher like this. okay. أنا مش هركز بالحاجات هذه يعني على أشياء يعني أشياء واضحة، يعني أنا حسأل مو أشياء يعني إحنا ما ذكرناها. شفت الصوت R شو places إنه شفت أكتر من مكان palatal alveolar و palatal alveolar. أوكي وكمان ضيفي عليهم ريتروفلكس. أوكي هند هم
طب
الحرف
يعني لما يجينا اختار هنختار أي مكان منهم؟
وانا مش هسألك بالحرف هذا بالذات، يعني انا حرف الار مش هسألك اياه، يعني انه هذا صحيح هو في اختلاف ولكن
واكثر اشي
باللفظ بيختلف.
ريتوفليكس.
يعني هلا انه انا زي ما قلت لك نعم هو احنا اصلا حكيناه بالريتروفلكس، يعني اكثر شيء بالفصول الامريكان دائما يعني really فانه يعني هو برجع اللسان لورا وبلفظه يعني تلاحظ انه دائما حتى الامريكان بلفظوه يعني اكثر من البريتش. بس احنا ما راح نسأل على اللفظ هذا، يعني هو اكتر شيء في الريتروفلكس صحيح، بس انه انت يعني pay attention للاشياء المهمة اللي احنا اخذناها في ال places of articulation وال manner of articulation. فيعني الاشياء هذه يعني خذيها الاكثر اشياء واضحة يعني. تمام هند؟
تمام.
اوكي، في حد عنده اي استفسار اي سؤال بالخصوص هذا؟
تمام، كلير إن
اوكي
شاء الله دكتور.
ان شاء الله خير. اوكي كمان انتوا انتبهوا انه في عنا فترتين، يعني تو شيفتس، اللي هو الفترة الاولى الشفت الاول والشفت الثاني. فالشفت الاول يكون في المورنينج، حيكون عنا ميعاد في السكند سيشن من الساعة 11 ل 11 ونص. اوكي، احنا موعدنا يوم الخميس 12 11. اوكي، في عنا السكند سيشن حيكون، او ممكن في الفترة المسائية كمان the same session. اوكي، في الجلسة الثانية هما حيكونوا الأسئلة مختلفة تماما يعني. اوكي، ما راح يكونوا متشابهين، لكن انتوا لازم تختاروا الوان شيفت لحتى انه يعني ما تتفوتوا على الشفت الثاني، لانه يعني اتركوا مجال لزملائكم الآخرين. فأنا ما بدي ألاقي مثلا إجابتين أو يعني امتحانين إنه امتحنين مرتين. فإنه أعتقد إن أنا هختار الشفت اللي هو اللي أنت بدأت فيه اللي هو الصباحي. فإنه إحنا عملنا اثنين، لأنه الطلاب بدنا يعني حسب الظروف اللي إحنا فيها الآن في غزة، انقطاع الكهرباء، الإنترنت، أي شيء. فإنه تأكدوا إنه عندكم الإنترنت وكل شيء تمام، عشان بس هيكون 30 minutes. فانه انتبهوا انه الوقت حيكون ليميتد على الاخر. ف فانتبهوا انه في عنا سوري، انا بس بحكي معك، عنا امتحانين. اوكي، بس انه الامتحانين حيكونوا مختلفين تماما، وبتمتحنوا الامتحان اللي هو مناسب للوقت لإلكم. فانا مش هاخد يعني انتوا تمتحنوا فترتين وتفكروني ان انا هختار الاعلى علامه. بالعكس، انا مثلا اذا انتوا فتوا على الفتره الصباحيه او امتحنتوا فيها، هعتبروا هذا الامتحان اللي خلاص انت اللي قدمته اول شيء. ما راح اخذ الفتره المسائيه حتى لو الدرجه اعلى، لانه هيك حيكون علي يعني كتير يعني جهد ان انا اشوف امتحانين في آن واحد. تمام؟ Is it clear؟
تمام يا دكتور. fair enough.
اوكي، هذا بخصوص الامتحانات. وطبعا احنا الامتحان يعني كله يعني نفس الشيء، ادب قصصي، اعتقد شورت ستوري. انتوا شو معاكم كمان بسنة ثالثة؟ اه آم،
ترجمة صحفية معنا
آه،
معنا اللي هي إيش ترجمة فورية، معنا ترجمة اثنين، معنا إحصاء.
احصاء، مبادئ احصاء. نعم، هنا مبادئ إحصاء. اوكي
ترجمة فورية برضه.
اوكي وترجمة فورية. فاعتقد انه عندكم يعني مجال انكم تختاروا الفترة المناسبة لإلكم. اللي يعني دائما نشوف المواعيد، لأنه حيكون الأستاذ حينزل على نفس الميعاد وعلى نفس التوقيت. تمام؟ فإنه ما تتأخروا، يعني دائما كونوا يعني متواجدين قبل ب10 دقائق، عشان الدكتور يكون يعني معاكم في نفس اللحظة، وانتوا بتمتحنوا وخلصوا في الآخر تعملوا سبميت وخلص تمام، يعني يكون وصل. فميك شور يعني احنا عملنا أظن يعني اكزامبل قبل هيك في أعتقد عملت شورت اساينمنت لإلكم. فنفس النظام يعني، بس هو مش حيكون مفتوح، يعني حيكون بس limited time، يعني حوالي 30 minutes. انتبهوا لهاي الشغلة. اوكي، وتعالوا قبل الوقت شوي ب10 دقائق. و all the best إن شاء الله for you، وإن شاء الله you will do your best. يعني all of you يعني ما شاء الله عليكم.
إن شاء الله.
اوكي إن شاء الله. إذا في عندكم أي استفسار، فاهمين يعني كل شيء بالفوناتكس. أنا ما بدي، أنا ليش أنا دائما بحاول إني أكرر وأزيد حتى الطالب إنه يعني يعني it's in your mind and you never forget it يعني إن شاء الله. فعشان هيك دائما إحنا بنشرح، وبرضه كمان بنزودكم بالفيديوز كله، يعني يعتبر وسائل إنه الطالب إنه خلاص إنه ترسخ بالعقل وما تنسوها أبدا. أوكي، فكيف إن شاء الله دراستكم، كيف الأمور، فاهمين كل شيء؟
Yes, doctor, it's all clear, inshallah.
إن شاء الله. أوكي. Thank you so much today for your participation and attendance. Amani, Hind, Yara, and Shireen, and Islam, of course, Islam.
Thank you, doctor.
All of you, يعني today you did your best to. Okay, inshallah. See you next time, and bye bye. في أمان الله. سلام.
إن شاء الله.
يعطيك العافية دكتور. سلام.
مع السلامة.